Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video I'd like to show you some typical and famous melodic characteristics from the classical period that you can use in your improvisations in music therapy. So I would like to present to you first of all the ornaments. So ornaments, they are ways that you can decorate the melody. The ornaments, they are some symbols that you can indicate in the music score just to add different notes in the melody, just to have different colors. And I will talk as well about some other characteristics that they are really typical from the Baroque period. So the reason that I will present the ornaments and the other characteristics from the Baroque, like the Arpeggio, the passing note, the bariolage, and the basso continuo, is because these characteristics, they are really famous, and for sure they were really used in a really exaggerated way during these different periods of the classical music. And even nowadays, when people they listen these specific characteristics, the majority will recognize of this is classical music, because for sure the composers exaggerated in many ways in the previous periods of the history of music, so in a way that even nowadays people will recognize as classical music. So I will start with the ornaments. So the first ornament I would like to present is the trill. So the trill is a way that you start playing one note and you play the next note in a diatonic way. So it can be a major or a minor third. Sorry, not third, the second. Major or a minor second. So in a way that you have only this note, so in this case the C written in the music score, but when I have the symbol of trill, I need to play the next note in a way that I will do this movement with repetition that can be faster or slower. So first a slow trill and a fast trill. And you have many classical, not only during the Baroque and the classical, but even the Romantic, for instance, in Wagner. So Wagner used as well the trills in some of his compositions. For instance. Afterwards we have the Mordant. So the Mordant, it's a kind of a trill, but it's a short trill. So in a way we can have the upper and the lower Mordant. So when we have the upper, so I need to play the first note. So in this case, as I said, the note that I have written in the music score, so in this case the C. And the upper will be here the D. So, but this is a short trill in a way that I just play. I go up and I back to the note. But I will do this for sure faster. And for sure I can play as well using the minor seconds. And I have as well the lower Mordant when I have the note. And I go down and I back to the note. And we have in the classical Bach composition that we have this, the use of the lower Mordant. Afterwards we have that we call the turn. So the turn is the use of 4 notes before to connect with the next note in the melody. So for instance, if I have C going to D, so in this way, the C going to D, I can put 4 notes. And sometimes we call the turn gruppetto as well, because it's a group of 4 notes. And these 4 notes, they are taking the next note that you need to play, going 1 note up, so in this case the E, playing again the note, the D, and going 1 note down. So my group of notes will be, remember I'm going to C to D, so in this case my group of notes will be the D, up, in this case the E, back to the in this case to the D, going down here just to the C and back to the D. So now I will show you how this will sound. So I have the so this is my melody. C going to D, C going to D. Now I will put the group of 4 notes before this D. For sure, if you play slower, so you have the turn. So this group of 4 notes. For sure, I'm just showing the version up, but you can do as well the same way if you want to play down. So if you have something like so you can have as well the turn in this way. And you can use in the same way the turn. Another one is that we call Acciaccatura, or using of grace notes. So you have some fast notes before the note that you want to play in the melody. So for instance, we have one example from Mozart that for me it's pretty cool. From the Turkish march. But we don't hear the melody like this. So this is the plan. The song is not like this. But if you do like this, so I'm adding, so I'm playing the B, but before to play the B, I'm playing really fast the G and the A, just because if I only play like this, no, Mozart uses the grace notes, the acciaccaturas, just to create more colors. The next example that I would like to talk, so now we are finishing the things regarding the ornaments, and now I would like to go to the using of arpeggio using passing notes. This is really famous from Bach. So Bach used it a lot, this way of playing the notes from the chords. A lot of use, because arpeggio, or you're playing the notes from the chord. But for sure, this is just a kind of an example to explain what arpeggio is. But what Bach did in many of the compositions is connecting the notes from the arpeggio with the passing notes. So one really famous song that Bach used a lot is arpeggio using the passing notes, is the suite for cello, the really famous suite. So, and in this video description I have the link of all the explanation about this cello suite in G major, explaining all the musical characteristics of this specific piece. And it's amazing because if you... And one of the uses that Bach did as well in many of these use of arpeggios with passing notes And not for sure it was not only Bach, because we can take other composers like Paganini used it as well, and many other composers. Is that sometimes when you play the arpeggios, you have some pedal points, some pedal notes that you repeat many times. So for instance, doing movements like so you can take some notes. So when you are using the passing notes, connecting with the arpeggios, you can use sometimes the passing notes, but connecting with a kind of a pedal note that you repeat. And sometimes you can change the pedal. Or sometimes your pedal can be in the upper note, sometimes in the lower note. So in a way you can connect the arpeggios using a lot of different things in terms of using the pass notes, and you can add sometimes this pedal notes just to add more colors. I really love this kind of melodies. Okay, the next thing that I would like to talk with you is about the Bari Lodge. So Bari Lodge it's more about for strings instruments. So in a way that you play one open string and you play the upper string, just doing a kind of a melody. So you play one string open, and with the other string you try to elaborate some melodies from the key, just connecting notes, and you hear this open string many times. So for instance, I play always my open string, and if you see an instrument like violin or cello, you will see these really crossing movements, because the idea of bariolage is this crossing movements that you do, changing the different strings while you are playing. So for instance, in this case I'm playing a bariolage in G major, just maintaining the open G here, and my other string, so I'm playing here in this case in the D string, but I'm playing all the notes that are possible from G major, just crossing. So this is the feeling of crossing. You can do it in many different ways, but the classical way that we can have is, so we have in the upper note you have the open string, and in the lower string you can do the melody. One for today's is about the basso continuo. So one really typical thing from the Baroque is the use of different ways of playing the bass, but especially this bass that trying to fill these spaces together with the melody. So in the bass, normally from the Baroque, we have this thing that the bass is playing a kind of a melody, and from the bass connected with the melody, considering the counterpoints, we can have the harmony from the songs. So in a way that the harmony is built based on the connection with the melody from the bass and the connection with the main melody from other instruments. And the thing about the basso continuo is especially because you try to have a dialogue with the melody playing the notes, and you try to fill the spaces, especially avoiding that you're doing the same rhythm, going to the same movement. So trying to avoid up movements in the melodies, or so mainly you try to do things in an opposite way while you're playing the melody. So I was just trying to give some examples. So you're playing something in a melody. And you start connecting with the bass. So in a way you can have some ideas in terms of adding notes, so creating a melody in the bass, but especially trying to fill the spaces and have this a kind of a movement in the bass. For sure, if we take some famous compositions from Bach, for instance, for guitar, so the typical bourrée, so you can really hear the bass doing something sometimes with the same rhythm but not in the same direction. So I hope you had fun with this video, and in the next video I'd like to record some improvisations using all these elements that I presented in this video. So please try to study each of these different musical characteristics from the classical music that I presented today, and try to play in themes that you know. So take themes like Happy Birthday or songs that you really like to play, and try to add these elements, because in this way it will be really easy for you to start improvising, having more things from the classical music. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.